Well, 2019 is turning out to be quite the year for clowns. And they're both from Warner Brothers, no less. Just a month apart. Is there room for two clowns, two very bizarre clowns in fall 2019? I suspect there is, but they are awfully close for comfort when you think about it. All right, so we're going to break down this teaser trailer for It Chapter 2, which took its sweet time getting here, but certainly delivered when it did arrive. All right, so speaking of arriving, the Adult Losers Club, for those of you not familiar, I'm going to try not to give spoilers away, but I am going to give you a little context. In the novel, they return years later after having left Derry, and their memories are a little, having left the city, the town, let's say. A city is a little bit generous. But having left Derry, their memories have faded, right? So in the novel, at least it's Mike in the novel who suggests it, he suggests that they go around town and jog their memory. So I guess Beverly's like, I'll go to the old homestead, even though, well, I guess she doesn't remember that horrible things happened there. But she's about to get her memory jogged or, jump-started in quite an interesting fashion. So, one thing is, I was pretty sure that the door to her apartment was outside for some reason, but for some reason now it's inside. And also, I don't know why she isn't at all suspicious that Marsh is still on the front door. I'd be like, hey, lady, I've been gone for quite some time. Why is nobody taking my family name off the front door? You don't expect me to still pay for the rent here or anything, do you? I feel like Sophia Lillis's version of Beverly Marsh would have kind of picked up on that. And maybe Jessica Chastain's will. Her version will, and is just too polite to mention it. She's too polite to do a lot of things in this trailer. But I think we should move past the dumb woman in horror movies, don't you? I don't know. I guess Jessica Chastain wants to be the damsel in distress. We'll talk about Jessica Chastain because she's going to show up in just a second. So she rings the doorbell. Bam! There she is. And I was like, I can't believe my luck that Jessica Chastain is not only opening this trailer, but as it turns out, occupies a decent chunk of it. Now, the scene's very strong, as we're about to go over. So I totally get that. And I feel that the movie feels that she's their biggest star. I think that's totally incorrect. I mean, if you look at her box office, and I'm sure they were kind of like, oh, did you have to do such a bad tweet about Game of Thrones this week, right? I told you she can't help herself. But she maybe has the biggest, footprint, you might say, but her box office numbers are just absolute trash. So I know that Sophia Lillis did just a luminous job in the first film, but how do you not open with Bill, considering it's his brother who was killed at the beginning of the last movie and is supposed to be the leader of the Losers Club? So it's weird to me. By the way, I saw the actor who played Bill in the 1980s miniseries, John Boy from Little House on the Prairie in the supermarket the other day. Oh, crazy. It's good that you didn't have a balloon. I would have freaked out. But Bill or real life Bill Hader, I think those would be stronger people to open the trailer with. I think the real reason they opened the trailer with Jessica Chastain is that she's very good friends with the director. They didn't necessarily want to go with Jessica Chastain for the sequel, but, Andy Muschietti wanted her all along because of their relationship on Mama. He cast an actress who looked like Jessica Chastain. He just, he's like, I'm putting Jessica Chastain in this movie. I'm going to make it so that he built a little trap so there's nothing you can do about it. And it succeeded. But I just can't believe that he continues to be able to just push her so strongly. I'm like, who the hell is Andy Muschietti? He only made one successful movie, this first one, and it didn't have Jessica Chastain in it. So I don't understand why he's allowed to, why he's been given such a big blank check. All right, but anyway, let's keep going. So she's like, I used to live here. The lady won't open the door all the way. I like the balloons and the logos there. She's like, come in. Your house looks oddly exactly the same. And why would she hide that there? She's like, I don't want to take it with me, but I guess I'll hide it in my old house and hope that... it doesn't make any sense to me. It's weird. But of course, we all remember that postcard. Quite the romantic folly in the last movie, right? Ben sent it, but she hoped it was Bill. All right. So then she's looking back to her memories. And so that's by the way, that's a hard thing to do, to smile to yourself. even though you know you're on camera. It's very difficult. Sophia Lillis barely pulls it off. Jessica Chastain, as you're about to see, does not. She has bruises on her arm. There's a better shot of them a little later on. We'll discuss them there. But here, Jessica Chastain clearly smiles. Like, they're like, someone off camera is like, and smile now. You know, it doesn't feel organic. It's not really emanating from her. It's very much, she's like, oh, don't you feel bad for me? And I'm like, I do not. So this is great, though. This is where I was like, this is where I knew I could feel okay about the movie, right? So while she's smiling at her postcard like a doofus in the foreground, in the background, that elderly woman, and it's really cute. So she like twists her body and she's like, and she goes off all like, Pennywise has like the greatest performance art style ever. Billy Skarsgård for coming up with this is a genius. I can understand why Jack Dylan Grazer is like, I like what you're doing here, buddy. But I think it's adorable the way he twists around and is like, oh, it's like so cute. It's almost like, oh, my cookies are ready, or the water's boiling. I don't want to burn it, right? He's like, I'm going to go prepare the food. I'm so excited. He can hardly contain his monstrous self. He can't contain his monstrous self. It ekes out a little bit, but it's very good. So they're sitting down here, and you can see that Beverly still has the same necklaces that she did when she was young, although she's replaced the key with something else. But this, to me, I'm not sure. Here's like a outside shot theory. Is Beverly Marsh pregnant? Or that's just a very unflattering shirt. But the reason I say that is because that little freeze frame, it kind of does look like that, right? And if you look at the rest of the trailer, as I did when this theory occurred to me, they very carefully are framing out her stomach in almost all of the shots. There's one shot that might discredit it towards the end, but it's in shadow. And then in this photo that was sent out by Warner Brothers Publicity, Jessica Chastain is conspicuously kneeling as everyone else stands. I'd say she's doing it to pull focus, although right there next to her pulling focus equally fiercely, right? So they're kind of in it together over there. And I believe they are actually friends. They're like, hey, let's totally pull focus in this photo. And he's like, you're on! So he's doing the over shoulder butt shot with the arched eyebrow, which I personally am also a fan of. And then Jessica Chastain is kneeling. But is she kneeling to cover up this story point? All right, that would certainly, stay away from my baby, Pennywise, and all that stuff, right? Who's the father? Well, I think she's married, by the way, in the novel. So, and they have cast her husband in this movie. So she's got quite the weird, complicated, although that's how Stephen King always imagined the character, a lot of weird stuff happens to her. And something really weird is about to happen to her here. All right, so if for some reason she drinks this old lady's tea, I'd be like, I would not drink it. Now, first, I just thought it was gross because there were obviously bugs in the house. They're like, help us. But there's 6 of them. Like 6 members of the Losers Club. Where's Stan? I don't want to ruin it for you, but let's just say there's a reason you're not seeing him in any of these photos. All right, or even in this trailer. So 6 bugs that Pennywise is going to squash like bugs. None of this is still occurring to Beverly, by the way. She's like, what a weird house. Look, she actually drank from that. Oh, so gross. I like that. This actress opposite her is doing a very good job. She's like, it's so hot, you feel like you could just die. D-I-E, die. I do like Jessica Chastain's makeup, though. It takes some of the edge off of her. I like the lightened eyebrows, but yet she still has excellent eye makeup, still pronounced lash with the eyeliner, even though she doesn't have a lot of... It's hard sometimes, but I really like hair and makeup. Sometimes it's hard to not have a lot of eyeshadow and still have a good lash line, but she looks excellent. And I think that's a good lip color that plays with both her hair and her cleft chin. So I think she looks very good in this. That's a beautiful, very flattering shot. She's so stupid. Okay. She's like, no one really dies in Derry. And then she like pauses and freezes. And Jessica Chastain's Beverly just accounts it to old age. Ageism. She's possessed and weird. And so she snaps out of it. Pennywise has given her a lot of clues. He likes to play with his food. And then look. This is both gross and inappropriate. It's like, lady, keep your shirt buttoned. Jessica Chastain's still sitting there. And then she's like, oh, I made cookies. Eat some food. Okay, I got distracted here. So you see, her arm is very bruised. Now, I don't remember anything happening to her arm against Pennywise in the first movie. There will be flashbacks, though, in this movie, so maybe something happens there, so that's a permanent scar. But also, at least in the novels, she's in an abusive relationship with her husband. So that might be where the scarring comes from. As I said, Beverly, if it wasn't for bad luck, she wouldn't have no luck at all, including having Jessica Chastain cast as the adult version of her. So I thought it was cool. I don't think any music is actually ever playing, even though she turned this record on. So she's looking at these pictures, which are all very weird. Now this is interesting because it implies that we're going to get maybe some backstory about Pennywise. Because the woman says, my father was in the circus. And Pennywise is like, how's that for a freaking clue since it's taking you so long to catch on? It says Pennywise, and there's a photo of me. Not looking particularly Billy Skarsgård-like, but wow. Yep, that's Pennywise's daughter. Or at least, he's, a lie, right? Because he likes to eat kids. So it'd be like, did you snack on your own child? So he's looking pretty twisted and weird there. Now look at that. It's hard to see. This is a great use of a dark doorway because you don't know. So you know something's going to pop out of it, right? But here she just kind of does like, that's definitely Pennywise's. If it's not Pennywise, it's definitely his daughter because she does like a crazy naked dance in the shadows there. She's like, it's great. I just love it. It's so captivating. So she's dancing in the dark naked there. Jessica Chastain. Looks very pretty there. Like that's also a very flattering shot. Has no idea what's behind her. She's very unfashionably dressed though for a character that's supposed to be a fashion designer in the novel. But they must change that. Okay. So she's like starting to be like, yep, that did it. I did catch on finally. Now this is great. This was so well done the way they did this. So it comes out with the thumping. Like it's such a great like low budget, but yet that's what's so great about it because it's such a base of horror, and you just hear the thumping, but you know that it's footsteps coming closer and closer. You just see that over darkness. Also because while the movie will be rated R, the highest grossing R-rated horror film of all time, even topping The Exorcist, not accounting for inflation, but they don't account for inflation. You got to play by the rules. But anyway, this character is naked. This elderly woman is running around naked. So I think maybe they'll show it in the actual movie. So there you can see her knees. And maybe that's the whole reason that Jessica Chastain's terrified. They were like, did you think it was Pennywise's daughter? She's like, no, it's just an elderly naked woman running toward me in her house, and I didn't know where to go. So she's running backward. I can't quite tell again there if she's pregnant or not. But yeah, that lady's definitely naked. She's like, don't touch me. Oh my God. And she's, of course, near the fireplace. Maybe something will come through the fireplace. It's like, wow, her memory must be wiped clean because these are amateur mistakes, Beverly. All right, on September 6th. I'm glad they kept their fall release date. So there's only 5 members of the Losers Club. They're dropping like flies. All right, so there we have them. That's Isaiah Mustafa as Mike, who's supposed to be the guy who stayed behind. We'll see if they stick with that, although, of course, it was Ben there at the end that liked to hang out at the library. We've got Beverly, and then we've got our 3 stars in the middle, James McAvoy as Bill, and Bill Hader as Richie. He looks more like Jack Dylan Grazer to me personally, but he's playing the older version of Finn Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard, by the way, as we saw from Stranger Things Season 3, is almost that tall and looks that old. It's crazy. I'm a little worried for where Eddie is. I loved Eddie so much in the first movie, and it alarms me that he's not in this shot. I have to say, I hope that the newbies, I respect the movie for going 50-50 in terms of name, known versus unknown actors. But right now, the unknown actors aren't really bringing it, right? Like, Ben should pop a lot more than he does. You're like, who's that? He looks like a red shirt, quite frankly. All right. We wanted Chris Pratt, and that doesn't look like a Chris Pratt. So that's sad. They reflect the Losers Club in the glass, but of course there are 7 there, so they're already down 2. And here they are walking all over town. A lot of walking. They Beatles it up in Derry. So there they are underneath with the sewers. There they are where they took the pact, right, to come back if there was ever a problem, and then they all forgot about it. And then they are walking down, the town looks abandoned. And there they are on the main street, same main street from before. I wish we could see what movies were playing there because that was a fun little Easter egg in the first movie. Again, with Beverly, I can't tell. Pregnant or not, I'm not sure. That shirt's very good at hiding it. Okay. Now here they're at the Chinese restaurant, famous scene from the first miniseries and the novel. Adult meeting of the Losers Club, and they're all together. And here I was like, is Beverly drinking? I'm not sure. I think that's her hand there. If it's not Beverly's hand, I apologize to whoever's hand that is. But, that could be water, although it looks like an alcohol glass, so I'm not sure. All right. Now, that's really beautiful. Like, why don't you open with this? Georgie reaching out from the sewer to Bill, who couldn't go with him to play. He let his brother go out alone. He should feel a little guilty about that. Of course, how did he know there was a ghost in the sewer? But, something, bad stuff's out there for reals. That James McAvoy looks, really tortured there. That's great. I like the little bit of gray in his part of his hair. That's excellent. I saw someone say he just looks like Professor X to them. I don't agree. I think he looks like Bill. I'm excited to see him in this role. His accent's like really over the top though. Like right there. He's like, we got to stop this thing, eh? All right, I get it. You're from the Northeast. So they're there. That's the sewer again. That's clearly a shot from the first film because they're all way bigger than this now. At least I think so. All right. Because, actually, come to think of it, Finn Wolfhard looks pretty freaking big there. All right. This is great. Bill Hader is selling this beautifully. If you're not watching Barry, you're making a big mistake. It's phenomenal. As good as the first season was, and I was like, I don't know where to take this. I don't know where you can take this. Bill Hader's like, I got it. And boy, does he have it. I recently tweeted that they did a really special episode, not this week, but the Sunday before, which was one of the best half hours of television or any kind of entertainment I've ever seen. And Bill Hader wrote and directed it. So I always knew he was talented. I never thought he got enough respect on Saturday Night Live. I'm so happy to see him finally like leveling up as he should. Like I love Will Ferrell, but Bill Hader I think is just as good. I'm talking about peak Will Ferrell. So here he is. Again, that's the center of town that we saw from the first movie. Now this is great. What an entrance. Pennywise, you look fantastic. He's like, I've got a lot of balloons and an awesome upside down triangle. All right, so here we go. And then I love this shot. This is amazing. All these balloons from under the bridge floating out, what looks like some kind of fair in the background. I'm sure those are CGI balloons, right? I mean, who would be the balloon wrangler on this movie, right? But that's an amazing visual. That's an Avengers of Horror movie visual. And there he is! Look at him jump out of that hole there. That's great. He just really does a great job there. I almost thought, and I think it is, but so this is a great way they've shot it. It's a great trick because that's the roof above him. So he's popping out from the wall and he's going to stand on it Fred Astaire style. That's really, really neat. Looks like Mike maybe down below. But that's so cool. He's going to walk down that side of that wall, totally Billy Skarsgård style. I love his quirky movements. Now that looks maybe like an origin, right? Now in the novel, he's just like some alien bug. But this, you can see the lamp behind him. It almost looks like his trailer in the circus and maybe how he becomes Pennywise, right? But wow, Bill Skarsgård, I love it. As I said before, he's like such a Swedish clown. Like he's like, I'm just gonna go for it. It's absolutely ridiculous and crazy. He's so into it and so not embarrassed that it works. That's what I love about his performance. Another fair, another carnival. They're all over the place as well lately. But I mean, of course, if you have a clown, you got to go into the fun house, which you can see in the background there. So who Beverly's with? She's with in one shot. I think those are both Bill. Yeah, those are both Bill. But I know she's supposed to end. I don't want to give anything away. But they're supposed to be a love triangle with Ben, and they're not really playing it up. I wonder if they got rid of it. But they had it in the first movie, so that doesn't make any sense. This is just a teaser. All right. There is Ben looking over his shoulder. He's like, Spidey sense is tingling. Someone's making out behind me. He's like, all I did for that lady. He should just be like, the postcard was me. All right. So there's poor Eddie. He does not look good. Eddie. That's how good Jack Dylan Grazer was. I don't know anything about this actor, James Ransome, but I still feel bad for the adult version of the character. Now there's James McAvoy in the fair during the day. Oh, scary. Now look at that. I'm not sure. That might be Sophia Lillis, actually, I think. Oh, that's great. Kudos to whichever actress or stunt person that is for getting in that goo. Oh, that stuff is gross. So that's the shot where I'm not quite sure. She looks like she lost the bottom half of her shirt. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But they're back in the sewer. I love that. I love that there's a light and then he puts his gloved hands over it like it's a magic trick. That's so cool. And there seems to be a totally different little girl under what looks like some bleachers where she shouldn't be. But Pennywise is there. Look at that. Look, hold on. Oh, and there he comes. Oh, he looks great. I love the way he makes his eyes go in different directions. That's so awesome. And the lines are like floating up his face. He's like, hello, I'm a European clown. And I'm like, I'm here for it. It, Chapter 2. Oh, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Very, very strong. I can't wait to see. They'll probably have at least 1 or 2 more trailers. I don't want them to give too much away, but I would like to hear a little. You know, the time jump is powerful. It really helped Avengers Endgame. And here, you're going to find out what happened to them as adults. And that's, I think, very, very interesting. And I'm curious to see what they keep from the book and what they change. All right, write your thoughts down below. Thank you for going over this with me. And you can check out some more videos right now.